Well, hello, Immanuel. It's been a long time since I've done one of these midweek videos, but I think it's time to start doing them again. As you know, COVID has wreaked havoc on our community and in our church, and so many of you have come down with COVID, some right now, and so many more have been exposed to COVID. You've had to quarantine at different times, and thankfully none of that due to our meetings here on Sunday morning. And then at least half of you have decided to not come to church on Sundays. And I get that. I totally respect it. You're trying to act with wisdom and be safe, take precautions and all of that. I get it. But that does have consequences. And one of those big consequences is that we feel disconnected from one another. And you might not know what's going on at church, and we might not know what's going on in each other's lives. And there's just this disconnectedness, and it doesn't feel like church right now. Well, I hope that these midweek videos can help with that in some small way, in a limited way. I hope they help. And so what I want to do today with this video is talk about a couple ways that we can be connected to one another, even though it's not the same, ways that we can fight against COVID's disunifying, disconnected kind of effect. One of those ways is very personal, and that is really just to reach out to one another. It's as simple maybe as shooting a text to somebody that you've been praying for. Just shoot them a text that I've been praying for you, thinking about you, miss you. Maybe you write a letter and you drop it in the mail, letting somebody know that you've been praying for them and thinking about them. They're on your mind. Maybe page through the directory and see people's faces, see their names, think about what you might know going on in their life. Pray for those things. Let them know that you've been praying for those things. Reach out. Make a phone call. You know, we can all do this. We can all fight against the disconnectedness of COVID by reaching out to one another. Another thing that you can do comes to us through the fellowship team. So the fellowship team has created a ministry called At the Table. It's a ministry you're familiar with, probably, even though you might not know the name. At the Table seeks to bring meals to people who are in need, going through a difficult time, or they're in a time of transition. And so what you would do, or what happens if you're on that ministry team, is you'll receive an email about a specific meal need. You'll have the opportunity to sign up for a certain day and say what kind of meal you're going to bring, and then you would make that meal and deliver it to that family. Now, if that's something that you think you could do, you want to serve the church family in that kind of way, then you should email fellowship@ibcfamily.com and let them know you want to join the team. They'll make sure that you're added to At the Table. Also, if you have a need for meals right now, you're going through a difficult time, then email fellowship@ibcfamily.com, express that need, and they'll be sure that your need is met. Finally, another way that we can stay connected with one another, even in a limited way, is to pray for one another. The prayer vine at Immanuel has been established for ages untold. It's been around forever. And the prayer vine is basically just an email chain that sends out emails, prayer needs to people, and then you get dozens and dozens of people praying for them. And so if you're not a part of the prayer vine, you're not getting those emails, and you want to get them, you want to pray for the needs of Immanuel, then email the church office, info@ibcfamily.com, and we'll get you on the prayer vine right away. Likewise, if you have a prayer need and you want dozens and dozens of people praying for that need, email your need to the office, info@ibcfamily.com, and we will pray for you and for what's going on in your life. So those are a few ways to be connected, to reach out to one another, to make meals for one another, praying for one another. And it's really on that last point, praying for one another, that I want to leave a little bit of an encouragement for you today. It comes out of the sermon this past Sunday, really, but in Ephesians chapter 6, right after Paul gets done telling us to put on the whole armor of God, he leaves an exhortation for us, for the church in Ephesus and for us. But Ephesians 6:18 says this: "Pray at all times in the Spirit, with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints." And so Paul is encouraging the church in Ephesus and us to pray for one another for perseverance. And our perseverance is found as people are praying for us. It's an amazing exhortation and quite a responsibility that we're being given that our perseverance, in part and somehow, depends on us praying for one another. And so I want to be praying for you. I hope you're praying for me. I hope everybody's praying for one another, that we would persevere through this difficult, challenging time, through all the disconnectedness, as the enemy shoots his flaming darts against us, that our prayers are holding each other up in perseverance. COVID is not going to defeat us, but we will get through this, and we will get through this in large part due to one another's prayers, and due to one another reaching out to each other and making meals for one another. Of course, praying for one another. So that's my encouragement to you. Reach out to one another. Make meals for one another if you can, if you feel led, and then pray for one another, just as Paul encourages us to. So I long for the day, brothers and sisters, that we can put COVID in the rearview mirror, that we can gather in this room without a thought of infection. Long for that day. But until then, I suppose, I miss you, I love you, and I hope to see you soon. God bless.